Hi, Cody. I'm here to talk about a philosophical problem that the philosophers from Harvard, Yale, and all the other prestigious universities have not been able to figure out yet. Because most of them will tell you that it's just it's too deep and complicated for any person to really draw a rational conclusion that makes any sense. They just can't do it. It's just too complicated. Okay, because in order for you to find an answer, and here's the riddle. The riddle is, why is there anything at all? Why is there stuff at all? Why are we here in the now? Okay, why is there not nothing? Why do we have something instead of nothing? You get it? Look around you, like, why am I in this moment now? That's a pretty deep-ass question, right? Like, where does it come from? Who started the beginning of the beginning of the beginning? What about the future? Where are we? Is it infinite? Is it not? These philosophers all over the world look at this and they say, well, it's an illogical question because nobody can really break it down to a level that they can explain it intelligently, and the question is so simplistic, but yet it's the most complicated, one of the most complicated questions ever. And they can't scratch the surface of it, because right now they say we live in this physical world where we have stuff, we have things. So we have things that we can interact with, touch, and feel. So our universe, we have the stuff, we have things we can look at. Our universe is not a nothing universe. But why do we have something? Their answer is, well, because there always has been something. There's got to be some craters or moons or planets that were just always there. Well, I don't like that answer, sir. With all due respect, I really don't. I think that's bullshit. I mean, what are you talking about? I played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out the other day. My little cousin asked me, how long is, what was that guy? Sandman. Remember Sandman? He was a boxer. Remember that character in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out? How long has Sandman been there? I didn't know. I was like, a long time. How long? I was like, forever. Well, he has been there forever, since the game came out in the 1980s, at least in arcade mode, 1981. What does forever mean? Are we talking about infinite? You telling me that crater in this real physical universe was there for a billion, gazillion, Dr. Evil, money, fucking, I'm going to shoot a laser at Earth if you don't pay me, dollars, years? It's illogical. This is an Ivy League person who's telling you that a rock in space and a moon and a planet and Mickey, Donald, and fucking Goofy have been there forever. No big deal. Please, nobody watch this video. I'm sorry, sir. I just don't buy infinity. I like infinity. I think it's great, but infinity is just crazy for me. And I'm crazy, but that's just too crazy, because even if you give you an astronomical amount of numbers, infinity can always grow its numbers to where my astronomical number will never even be 1% of 1% of 1% of infinity, because infinity can keep growing. So my billion, trillion, gazillion, Dr. Evil number from hell is never going to even equal anything of infinity, because infinity is infinity. And then you can take infinity negative and go the other fucking direction, and now you're really fucked. Sorry. So now the philosopher physicist says, and what's nothing? And he says, when it comes to nothing, the nothing, basically we shouldn't be here. When there's nothing, he says that mathematics and scientific logic must be present in absolute nothing, because those are the laws that govern this universe. And you must have the gravity, the possibility of perhaps stars growing somewhere or coming in. Electromagnetic waves is also present in nothing. Mathematics. That's cool. So I guess a bunch of nothing is going to be doing algebra equations in the middle of nothing. What's nothing times nothing? Equals nothing. Then you have scientific laws in nothing. And besides that, nothing's a pretty fucking happening place. Well, I'm going to give you a different answer. No one's going to listen to me. No one's really going to care because I'm not a doctor and my name is not Neil deGrasse Tyson. But I'm going to give you the real reason why we not only live in a world where we have things and there is stuff, but you simultaneously live in a world where you have absolute nothing. And the nothing that I'm going to explain to you doesn't have mathematics and scientific laws. It really has fucking nothing. Yeah. And it exists at the same time as the universe that we live in that has stuff in it. Isn't that wonderful? That's right. So how could I sit there with a straight face with these sunglasses and hat? How could I possibly think of something different than these clowns at these Ivy League schools? Well, I think of it differently because I like to think of consciousness. And they don't. They're afraid of it. Those people have fear running their life. I don't have any fear. Double-slit experiment teaches us that consciousness is fundamental. Consciousness is what derives the probability of a particle to go into a certain place in time and form the pattern it needs to form based on your observation or a measurement. And a measurement can only be made by a consciousness, an individual unit of consciousness. That's what our reality is. Your reality and the things that you see around you are manifested through historical data streams that are sent from a computer outside of a simulation, and they are rendered only when there's a conscious entity that is observing it. The double-slit experiment also teaches us if you're not there and observing it and you walk away and there's no recording devices or any other conscious entity watching or looking at something that you left behind, then all the things that don't have any historical data requirements at that time don't have to exist. That's an efficient way of creating a simulation. Consciousness is what manifests your reality. Without that and a measurement, what you need consciousness for, everything that you see around you does not exist. This universe does not exist. This simulation would not exist if there's no conscious entity observing it. Why? Because there's no players playing a virtual reality game. Would World of Warcraft play if nobody fucking played the game? What do you think, that elf is just going to all of a sudden decide to play by itself? That's a computer character. I don't think so. These clowns in the philosophy department think that their universe is real and objective. They're wrong. And I'm going to answer that riddle. Consciousness has two stages. Very easy. There's a consciousness stream, and there's which is unconscious. If you're unconscious, and you're not dreaming or hallucinating, then you are in the realm of getting no information. That means your consciousness data stream is not giving you any information, no input or output. People can die and lose their consciousness. People get hit by a car or a baseball or punched in the face and lose their consciousness. Some people, actually all of us are conscious, and we're conscious units even before we come into Earth, but none of us remember before the period of Earth, right? Before we all got born here in this place. before we got put in this simulation. No one can tell us what it was like before Earth. But I do believe that we were around before that. But either way, this reality constantly has universes of absolute nothing and stuff that we can see and touch. If your consciousness is healthy, you're aware, and you're getting your data stream and you're interacting, you can ponder the very notion of why we have things instead of nothing. But what people fail to realize is those things that you're seeing in this reality is all because of your consciousness, not because it's really physically there. In fact, all of these objects that you see around me are all made out of nothing. Atoms have no mass. There is nothing inside of a nucleus. It's all pixelated through Planck length scale. We are a process fractal that just repeats ourselves. That's why we're going to create simulations that are going to create simulations. So the small piece of one represents a large piece of the whole. It's called a process fractal. Now, take away consciousness. Somebody gets in a bad car accident. Their brain goes dead. That is an unconscious state. That is the opposite of consciousness. Consciousness would be a low entropy state. Unconsciousness would be random, crazy, no information, high entropy state. Unconsciousness could come out of the coma, could come out of the state of being unconscious. Ultimately it will, but it might take some time. And they may decide, or the system may decide, to not give it any information for a long time. If that happens, based on a car accident, or just based on death, or just a certain type of reincarnation phase that you're in, then you're in absolute nothing. The only way you can get into absolute nothing is not take a space rocket like that moron said and fly to this dark spot in outer space and then say, well, absolute nothing better have mathematics in here, and they better have they better have the scientific laws and gravitation. They better have the light speed configurations in here, and we better have... Sir, absolute nothing is nothing, sir. You can't just, say, gee, I want to have nothing ice cream, please. Throw some sprinkles on there and cherry whipped cream. Get the fuck out of here. Not my ice cream shop, buddy. Your nothing is nothing. I'm not even give you an ice cream. You want nothing? I'll kick you out of my store. You get nothing. That's it. Nothing means nothing. Don't complicate it. You guys up there in the Ivy League schools, we fuck up everything. That's it. Very simple. Conscious, unconscious. The unconscious realm is an absolute nothing. What is nothing? Explain nothing. If you explain nothing, then you're explaining something. This other guy was like, yeah, absolute nothing would be like going into a room in a warehouse over on A Street and looking around. There's a little cracked window, but ignore that. That's something, you moron. Nothing is nothing. Nothing means nothing's there. Nothing means no information. Dummy. Sorry, guys, I'm a little upset. That's what it means. But you guys think it's a physical reality. If we're a physical reality, then why are we pixelated? Nothing can only exist with something. Those two parts are one and the same. The key to a nothing and a something is a measurement of consciousness, and that consciousness has an unconsciousness or a consciousness. It's an on or off. Yes or no, black or white. That's it. It's the duality. You're conscious. You can ponder the very nature of your existence. Why do we have nothing here? Or you could say, why do we have something here? But then when you're unconscious, guy was in a coma for 8 years. He got out of it. I saw it on the YouTube the other day. It was an old video. What did you think about it? He's like, I don't remember even going into it. 8-year coma, and he's waking up like, damn. How much time passed? Really? Nothing, that's nothing. There's no information going in to the consciousness stream for that person. And that's what creates the ultimate nothing. The ultimate nothing and the, oh gee, there's a bunch of stuff here. Why do we have anything at all? Are one and the same. They are parallel dimensions that are predicated on consciousness either being turned on or off at that moment for all existing and beings that pre-existed that will be recycled and reincarnated. The notion of what creates the manifestation of physical matter is the mind of the consciousness. If that mind of the consciousness changes the constraints and gets hurt or damaged and shuts off, you're in absolute nothing. There is no mathematics. There is no lithological lines, declaration lines of 10 degrees north and south. There is no space-time. There is no electromagnetic energy. There's just nothing. You're in a simulation. And there is absolutely no physicality, not even a star, not even comet. I mean, I'm talking really nothing, because there's no information. Why? Because the constraints of your correlating device of your brain to receive information has been temporarily disconnected. They'll fix it, don't worry. So, the easiest way to explain this is just think of a yin-yang. A yin-yang, you have a white side and a black side, right? The teardrops, they come together in a circle. The black side is going to be your unconscious realm. The white side of the teardrop, the large white side, is going to be your conscious, light and dark. But the dark side always has a white little circle in there. That's because there's always an opportunity for the unconscious to come out, which they do eventually, not remember anything, not experience anything, can't describe it, can't do anything, because nothing is nothing. That's it, nothing's nothing. And they come out of it, and then all of a sudden they're dreaming, and they're able to get data and information, just little bits at a time, little memories, little dreams, little this, little that, and then they get on their way again, and they become, ready for a new conscious reality that they'll be a part of. Okay, that's a cycle. That's why the yin-yang's always going in a circle, so it's filtering back and forth. Then you have the conscious entities. They're born here, and they're alert, and they're thinking about all types of things. What's nothing like? Gee, what's that? Oh, gee, why do we have something instead of nothing at all, right? And what happens? They can get injured, and the opposite happens, and they lose their consciousness. And they might lose their consciousness for maybe a month, or maybe a couple weeks, or maybe just a day. Who knows, depending on the situation. Or they might sleep every night and never remember one thing when they sleep. The point is that they can also delve into the small probability, just like the unconscious, into losing their consciousness. The unconsciousness has the probability of, in a small amount, of gaining their consciousness. And they circle around each other. Those two states of information dictate whether or not your universe is materialized with stuff or it has nothing. But what frustrates me is when these people try to take the nothing state and put rules and regulations and bylaws in there. No, this is a simulated reality. In fact, the more I research physical reality, I even think the manifestation of physical reality could also be cloaked as a virtual reality. I think once we've gotten to the virtual realm, I think that they could have other simulations that have double-slit experiments where they could fool populations and they could replicate the exact maneuvers that a particle should make in a real physical universe. If that double slit came out the right way for a physical universe and they faked it, they could do it. Meaning this computer and the creator outside the scene, they could do that. And we would have thought we were real. That would have really screwed us up. But we did have that problem when we had it back with Einstein in the early 1900s. They didn't know what to do with it. The problem Einstein made is he didn't take into consideration the subjective reality. Nor did he have the experience base of computers and simulated reality. But his biggest failure was not taking into account the subjective mind. So when you see all these anomalies or UFOs, the subjective mind is actually more important than the objective mind. Because the objective mind is not real. They keep doing brain scans to try to find where consciousness comes from. They've been doing that for 30 years. You should see the guy on YouTube the other day. We just can't find it. Anybody got any clues? I'm dying soon. Holy fucking shit. I spent my whole life on this. Hey, asshole. Consciousness comes from a different reality. Figure out help him. He spent 33 years trying to find it. But if I tell him it goes to a different reality, he's going to ask for a ticket on Elon Musk's rocket. So he's still going to think it's physical because he's a fucking idiot. So there you have it. We have stuff because consciousness exists. We don't have anything, and that exists simultaneously. That's why these nut jobs, the philosophers, we're trying to find nothing, but we can't find nothing. Nothing is everywhere. If you want to find nothing, sir, I'll come and punch you in your head, and you can get knocked out for 5 minutes, and then tell me what you think about nothing. That's fun. I'll help you out, guys. We'll do a little thought experiment. Take all you guys up over, you know what, like you guys come down to South Florida. I'll kick all you guys in balls, knock you out with one punch. Tell me how you feel. Hey, did you enjoy the experience? Did you see anything? Besides the little Tweety birds? Oh, then you got nothing. Very good. Did you enjoy nothing? Did you see any mathematical laws in there, dumbass? I'm just kidding. I wouldn't punch them. I would just kick them. So, very easy to explain. But you got these physicists and these philosophers that don't understand their reality. That's right, they really don't. They don't get it. They really don't get it. And when you're looking at this big picture of where we are and what's going on, you don't have to worry about the past. You don't have to worry about the future. Well, you should worry about the future. The future is probable. Please understand, irregardless of all the virtual realities and simulated universes that we're in, they far outnumber real universes. And by the way, a lot of the real universes we're not even sure are real. There's only one timetable you have to understand when you're conscious. The conscious is the now. The now is the now, right now, right now, right now. The past is the past, it's done. Now I'm into the future. There's only a now. Is there anything different than a now? Yes. There's an off. Off is nothing. Now can look and see things. There's only two states in this whole existence. All the universes, all the realities. On or off. Conscious or unconscious. You can render material and see stuff and why it's here, or you can experience absolute zero. It's one and all the same. It's a yin-yang. I'd like to thank the philosophers from Harvard, Princeton, and Yale for all of their horrible advice before I did this video. I'd also like to thank the guy from Oxford. He was another one. Brown, Yale, Dartmouth, Rice, and Stanford. And what's the other one? Oh, and my school, Elon University. Thanks. Have a great day, guys.